use the greeting that says, "Know that you are loved." Just absolutely love that. So I'm going to show you also some other cards that are using products that are current, but this is the one we'll do today. Okay, so let's get started. We've got our stamparatus. First thing you're going to do is get a piece of cardstock that is 7.5 inches square. That's the size of the stamparatus, so that's why we're cutting it 7.5 inches square. And you're going to want to mark it at the halfway point all the way around. So half of 7.5 is 3 3/4. So you're going to draw a mark just like this, a line. Make sure that you're very, very accurate when you do this because it does make a difference. Then you need a sheet of transparency paper also cut to 7.5 inches to fit over it. You're not going to do the half, you're not going to make any marks on this yet. Transparency paper you can buy at Staples or you can get it online. I just bought, I think, 25 sheets online for $11 or $12, $13. So you may want to split it with some friends because you probably don't need 25 sheets. And who knows, you may even have some at home. Okay, so now the first thing we need to do is decide what size centers we're going to put onto our transparency. And since you haven't done this before, you probably wouldn't know how to decide. So I'm going to show you the 3 centers that I use. I use 3.5 inches square, 4 inches, and 5 inches. And each time you make one of these little pieces of cardstock patterns, you're going to do the very same thing. Mark the halfway point and draw very accurate lines on each one. Okay, now let me show you a few examples of cards made with these different sizes of centers to give you an idea of what we're going to do. So this card, which is made from Timeless Tropical, it is current. It was in the mini catalog and it's still going to be in the new catalog. This uses the 3.5 inch center. Okay, here's another one. This is Tropical Chic. This uses just the palm frond. This is also a 3.5 inch center. This is also Tropical Chic. Super simple, easy to make card, 3.5 inch circle. And then the Bumblebee is a 4 inch centerpiece. It's just a little bit bigger than the images I was working with before. And now here we have a 5 inch centerpiece. This is Good Morning Magnolia. And it needed even a little bit larger. Okay. And then here's my cute kitties. These are retired, but this was a 4 inch. This was Pretty Kitty that was in a not too long ago catalog. And then here was, oops, upside down, Bella and Friends. This is a 5 inch piece, so I layered with designer paper here. Okay, so you see there's just all kinds of possibilities. So we've got our centerpieces, and now let's get going. Okay, so what you're going to do is take the 3.5 inch piece, and I'm going to take any color of Sharpie. I think I'll just start with black. And you're going to very carefully draw around it onto your transparency paper. After you make the square, you're going to turn it diagonally. Now, this is very important. You've got to get your tips of the cardstock right on the lines, and just take a minute and finesse it around until you get it right where you want it. Oops, that's not quite right. There we go. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing. Going to draw around it. So this is making our master template. Okay, so we're done with 3.5 inches and we're done with black. So we'll set that aside, and now I think we'll do red. You just want 3 different colors. So once again, we're going to line up the lines, matching the cardstock underneath the transparency sheet. We'll do our first square, then we'll turn it diagonally, making sure the points are right on the lines, and we'll do the very same thing. Take your time, because this template now you're going to use over and over again. So we'll put away the red, and I think we'll go green for our 5 inches. So once again, line up the lines, take your time, and we'll go green. The reason you want to change colors is because when you turn your cardstock, like you see me do in a minute, you want to make sure you stay with the green or stay with whatever it is you're doing when you turn your cardstock. Okay. Almost finished. There we go. All right, so now we have our template ready to go. I'm gonna use a 5-inch piece. To start. And like I said, I'm using the sunflower. So I'm going to place it right here on the cardstock. And then I pull my plate over it so that it lifts up the daisy. And we are ready to start stamping. I'm going to use the Tuxedo Black Memento pad and ink it really well. And here we go. So there's our first stamp. Now, remember I'm going to stay within the, for me this time it's green, so I'm just going to turn it diagonally, put my little magnets back in place, and keep going. Now this could make you nervous when you go, oh my word, it's overlapping, is that going to be okay? But you know what, sometimes you just have to test it. Sometimes it just turns out being a big mess and you really don't like it. And other times you will be amazed. Mostly I think you get a pretty good idea that it's going to be cute. Make sure that when you're turning your cardstock, you don't touch what you've just stamped because it's very wet and you don't want to smear it. You just want to give it a minute to dry before you start coloring it in. So this takes a minute just to keep turning. I know there have been a few characters that I used that were larger, and I only put it on 4 times. I don't even remember what that was. It's been a while ago since I did that. But you just have to experiment a little bit and just have fun with this very creative, well, can I say a creative creation? Kind of saying the same thing twice. Okay, so we're getting there. Stay pretty accurate with, you know, as you turn. Okay, one more, and we're good to go. Okay, here we go. There we go, last one. Okay, so now we're just going to pull this out, and I'm going to set this aside, and I'm just going to remind you again of what we're going to end up with. This is what we're going to end up with, and this is what we have right now. Okay, so once I stamped this, I thought, okay, well, let's see what we can do here and how it's going to look. So I have one that is mostly colored in because you really are not going to want to watch me color this whole thing in. So what I did is I used the dark Daffodil Delight to color in the leaves. So on this, you know, some of the samples, there was really no coloring in to do. So obviously those are going to be a little bit faster than the daffodil. But the daffodil is so beautiful. And I know some people that would absolutely love to get this card. Okay, so there's the Daffodil Delight. Then I also took another Stampin' Blend. This one is called Bronze. I don't know why I left 2 centers to color in, but I did. Okay, so we're just going to use the bronze to color in the center piece. Then we're going to use the light old olive Stampin' Blend to color in the leaves. we're going to go back and highlight a little bit with the dark. And this is what I've done on each one of the flowers. Then the last little touch is I took the dark crumb cake, and believe it or not, I went back to do highlighting with the dark crumb cake. It just gives the flowers a little bit more depth. Yeah, most of these are done already. I think I just didn't do those. Okay, so it gives the flowers a little more depth. Okay, so here's our finished piece. Looking good, huh? It's coming along. Okay, so now let's go ahead and mount. So now we're going to be cutting each piece 1/4 of an inch larger. So I'm mounting this first, this is a 5-inch piece, so now this Bumblebee, which is one of the new in colors, is 5 1/4. And I just wanted to show you the difference between Bumblebee and, okay, I just forgot the name of it. Hello? What's the name of it? Don't you love it when your brain just draws a blank? I have to find it in the catalog, and of course I don't know the pages yet. Crushed curry. Okay, crushed curry has a little bit more yellow in it, and Bumblebee has a tiny bit more brown in it. So this one is just a little bit more muted, but the colors are very close. Crushed curry is a little brighter, and this is a little tiny bit more muted, the Bumblebee on your left. Okay, so then we're going to take this layer and we're going to mount it onto soft suede. I tried other colors and I really liked soft suede the best. So the soft suede is actually 11, because it's 5 1/2 this way and 11 inches this way. And then I've got a center piece to write on too. So now we're getting closer. Okay, so we want to put something interesting in the center, and I wanted to use the greeting that says, "Know that you are loved." So I stamped it in early espresso, and then I'm going to use the layering piece out of Bumblebee. So let's put these two together. I used the layering circle dies. So what you're going to do is just go to your layering circle dies and use the two that fit and that layer the nicest. Okay, so this is going to go in the center. Now it could just sit in the center. You could put it on dimensionals. Sometimes I don't like the height of dimensionals, which is exactly what happened in this case. So what I do sometimes is I will just take my cardstock and mount it on another layer exactly the same size. And I'm going to do that twice, just because I do want a little bit of height, but I don't want it as high as a dimensional. Okay, let's get this on here. Let me try that again. I don't want it showing either. I could have done 2 crushed curry. That probably would have been smarter, but this is going to be fine. Okay, so now let's put, let me make sure I'm doing this in the right direction. I'm going to turn this around. Okay, so you are loved. I just love the effect of this couple of extra layers and not having the dimensional sometimes. It just looks so cool. So now we just need a little pop. So I took the linen thread, did a triple, actually I did a triple bow. And I'm going to add a glue dot. There we go. I think we are done. Isn't this fun? Super, super fun. Now, when you make cards like this that are oversized, you are going to need to make an envelope to go with it, or you could just hand deliver it in some type of a little bag. I don't know if you have an envelope maker. I'll do another video and show you how to use the envelope maker. And if you don't have one, You could probably just go online and buy one, because most circular cards are going to tend to be a little bit oversized. They don't have to be, but usually they're going to be. So this is the envelope that I made, and this is just going to fit in there perfectly. And I can hardly wait to see who I'm going to send this to, because I think they will totally enjoy it. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to push the subscribe button below, subscribe to my channel, and please share it. If you've enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would share it with your friends. And then visit my blog. All the details for this card will be on my blog. Thank you so much for joining me.